Alright, I'm Clay Thayer, and this is going to be about my build of Lights Out. My previous piece of this project was Tic-Tac-Toe, where the main menu was used to be simpler and only had 2 buttons. I have now made a new 3rd button for Lights Out, which initially, if people played it, would pop up with a message about coming soon. As most of my projects are, this project was made with Unity. Without further ado, let's go into Minds Out, or otherwise, Lights Out. As most of my projects are, this project was made with Unity. Without further ado, let's go into Minds Out, or otherwise, Lights Out. Upon start, a method which gives my primary integer array information that everything else looks to, using separate integers in the internal functions using a random.range, giving the integers their value. In this method, it gives less chances of having more than 1 or 2 duplicates on average, giving the player a random range of roughly 7 to 9 mines that are active on the start. The integers are then implanted into the array and given a value of 1. The button cells in each square are tethered to this next piece. This one takes where the player has clicked and checks to see if the segment of the array is a 1 or a 0 and then flips them. Once this is done, it runs another segment called algo, which we'll get into in a second. Then tallies the turn used and displays it on the canvas of the game. Once all this has been done, the system will run its check on if the game has been won or not. In algo function, the game runs 4 more integers which are used to calculate the neighbors. This is called after the math is done. First is the left neighbor. It checks the system if there is even anyone to the button's left. If not, it does nothing. If they do, then it proceeds to recalculate what the left's actual value is, then checks that cell in an array and switch it to 1 or 0 depending on which value is currently there. Like my left, the right is needed to be checked for the neighbor on its right. The math for this one was done back in void algo, but I needed to turn the value from the right to a segment of 5 so it can be reduced to 0. Then check to see if it was a 0. If it was, then do nothing. If not, then I would proceed to check for 1s and 0s on that cell. For up and down, it's slightly more simple in finding if there's a neighbor or not. For up, you simply make sure that the value of the integer is higher than 0. For down, you make sure that it is less than or equal to 25, or for me, simply put, less than 26. With one win, while we had gone over some highlighted functions, let's go ahead and use my little egg I made to give an automatic win in order to see the win screen. As you can see, we are now up to 2 wins on the right, and we are given 3 options on if we want to go to the main menu, rematch, or quit. It was my pleasure to give you a peek into my version of Minds Out, Lights Out. This is Clay of Infamy Group. Thank you for watching.